built to serve.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to First Things First. I'm Jenna Wolf alongside Nick Wright, Kevin Wildes, and Eric Mangini is joining us on a Friday morning. Coach, it's great to have you back. We missed you. Got a lot to get to today. What do Tom Brady and Derek Jeter have a lot in common? Guess which former Cowboy wants to be a current Cowboy? But we start this morning with the latest New England Patriots rumor, and no surprise, it's about who could possibly replace Tom Brady. The Boston Globe released in a column that the, quote, stars seem to be aligning for New England to move up in the draft from where they are now at 23 into the top 5 in order to get Tua Tagovailoa. Would it be hard? Yes, but there is a path, and so there is a possibility. Nick, do you think this makes sense for the New England Patriots?
Well, this is a loaded question. It makes sense for 25 teams in football to want to get Tua Tagovailoa. If you don't have Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, the best of the best, Russell Wilson, then yeah, I'd want to try to get Tua Tagovailoa. And if right now my quarterback depth chart read Stidham, Hoyer, Kessler, of course I'd want to get Tua Tagovailoa. But is it plausible? I mean, the Patriots are sitting at 23. They don't have a second-round pick. They only have 1 pick in the top 70. Miami's got 6 picks in the top 70 if they wanted to move up. The Wildes, I know you're so excited. Just a little contemporaneous history here. When Philly wanted to move up from 8 into the top 3. They had to trade the 8th pick, 2/3, another first, and a second. When Chicago wanted to move up from 3 to 2, just to move up 1 spot, they had to include the 3rd pick, obviously, along with 2/3 and a 4th. So the price it would cost New England to move into the top 5 would be absolutely enormous. But yeah, Wildes, of course they should want Tua Tagovailoa. I believe he's a future superstar. And if you can get him, Wildes, you go get him.
I would be so happy if this happened, but I'd also be so happy for several quarterbacks. Like I brought this prop from my garage. I'm in the Carrot Top phase of my career now. So, Nick, well, this is what we do. This summer, in the fall, we enter something called the Snapper Derby. And what the Snapper Derby does is you have to catch the biggest snapper under a pound. And their snappers are like baby bluefish. And they're small, and they're headed south, and they are so small and vulnerable, they need to fatten up, and they'll bite at anything. You could put a little piece of squid on there. You could put this like a popper on there. Or if nothing else works, you can just throw the hook in there, and they will bite it. That is me. And I can't tell whether I'm biting a real story or just an old hook. Because here's my dream Patriots depth chart at this point. And check in because it changes every 12 hours when I see a Photoshop on Twitter. Number 5, Jalen Hurts. I absolutely love him. The Saban connection, perfect. Number 4, Stidham, Hoyer. I don't even know if they did one of those wrestling things where they just put the same jersey in a different guy like the Killer Bees used to do. I don't know. I don't think I'd be able to tell the difference. Number 3, Tom Brady pulls a Bill Belichick with the Jets and comes back. It's happened before. Just saying. Happened with Josh McDaniels a little bit with the Colts. Number 2, Tua. I'm happy to move him to number 1, but right now I still have my heart set on Cam, mostly because the Cam Photoshops are more advanced at this point than the Tua Photoshops. If this afternoon the Tua Photoshops move up, I'm moving Tua to number 1, Jenna. So I don't know what I'm doing. I will bite any hook that someone throws out there in the media. So maybe Jenna, Coach can like calm me down or fire me up. I'm not even sure what we're going for in the show.
I don't know if either of those are even possible at this point. But Coach, let me just reset for a second. 2 questions for you. 1, how hard is it for a team to move up, like the Patriots are at 23, into the top 5 in order to get a guy like Tua? And is Tua even a good fit for the New England Patriots in that system? Can you tackle both those questions for me?
You know, first of all, I want to just thank Kevin for his Carrot Top reference. You don't get a lot of those these days, so that was good. In terms of it being a fit, it could be a really good fit, and the relationship with Nick Saban helps them get good information in terms of where he is physically, what he's like as a player, and in this environment where you can't spend time with the players, having sound information on an investment like that is the most important thing you could have. The fact that he also played for Brian Daboll at one point at Alabama helps too from a system fit, from an overall fit in terms of culture as well. Now, all that being said, I find it very hard to believe that the Patriots would give up tremendous draft value to go get this guy. It's not what they do. Now, they hadn't drafted a wide receiver in 20 plus years, or Bill hadn't, and they changed that last year. So it's not impossible, but it's not really what they do. They're in the business of trading back more than trading up. And you even see the players that they've gone and replaced Tom Brady with have been lower value guys. It's hard to think that they would give up what they need to give up in order to move up and try to get Tua.
So here's, though, Coach, is my favorite part of the Patriots quarterback palace intrigue at this point. It is revealing that the most diehard Patriot fans and a lot of people that attacked me all year long actually deep down in their heart of hearts agreed with me all along that the problem for the Patriots last year on offense was their quarterback. Because I don't know, Kevin Wildes, if you've noticed this, but of your starting 11 offensive players last year, 10 of them are the exact same right now heading into next year. Your big offseason free agent acquisitions are a fullback. I know that got Coach super excited. He texted me about it. Dan Vitale bringing the Patriots back to prominence. Someone named Damiere Byrd and a Brian Hoyer. Offensive line, all the same. Starting receivers, Harry and Sanu, the same. Those tight ends, remember the tight ends were the problem. That's why Brady wasn't any good. All the same. But all of a sudden, you plug in a real live quarterback like Cam Newton, who, by the way, you had above Tom Brady in your dream quarterback depth chart. You feel good. You plug in a rookie quarterback coming off a broken hip. You feel awesome. Brady's already moved to third in your heart and third on your depth chart. So I heard all year long, the problem was the weapons. The problem was the offensive line. The Patriots have addressed none of that and are now at least public, or at least it's being speculated, they might trade away ways to address some of those things in the draft to do what, Wildes? Fix the actual problem of last year, which was crummy quarterback play. So it's a long way to say I'm glad you're finally agreeing with me that last year Brady was the issue.
No, nobody's agreeing with you, Nick.
Okay. Go, Coach.
Go ahead, Kevin.
Go ahead, Coach.
Well, what I was saying is nobody's necessarily agreeing with you, Nick. It's more a function of Patriots fans need to find some solace in the fact that they've lost Tom Brady. So now whether it's a rookie quarterback, whether it's a free agent quarterback, they want to try to fill the void that's been left by Tom leaving. And it wasn't just a function of the Patriots moving on. It was a function of both sides moving on. So it's not them saying Tom was strictly the problem. I don't think that's the case at all. And then this article is like a lot of articles. There's going to be people throwing stuff out there, wild scenarios that could potentially happen if all the stars align. But the reality is it's not even close to being a reality.
But Wildes,
Coach,
you're on board with this, and maybe it's because you want to be on board with this.
Jenna, any port in the storm. I'm in a bad spot right now, and I think I'm trying to get down to the root causes of it. So I'm going to throw it back to Coach, because these are the kind of two philosophies that I can't figure out. One, football is a win-now league. Belichick's always focused right here. We're on to whatever our next week's opponent is. And then this other big kind of thing over here is like we're going to have $100 million in cap space. We're looking towards the future. So, Coach, tell me what I should be believing. Are we actually competing for a Super Bowl next year? Or am I like on to a watch, which I don't think we get a Super Bowl next year? Because then I start to get into like, Trevor Lawrence watch. I don't know where I'm at. And then like that young Peyton's nephew watch. Like, I don't know where I am. So just tell me where I should be as a Patriots fan.
Well, look, the great organizations do both. They plan for the future and they try to win right now. And then that's what's made New England a great organization. They're not going to mortgage the future to just win this season, but they're going to do everything they can year in and year out to be competitive. And it's worked. So you can't see the two as being mutually exclusive. You've got to look at it as being a huge benefit that Bill has the ability to navigate through each of those scenarios.
Can I say something about this, Jenna? What's the other element to this story? Why are people discussing the Patriots even being able, Jenna, to move into the top 5? What's the team that's being speculated they could work with here, Jenna?
So I'm glad you asked. And the reason is there's a lot of front office folk who are tied to New England. Bob Quinn, their general manager, obviously Matt Patricia, their head coach. I know Patricia and Bill Belichick are rumored to still vacation together. There's this crazy rumor out there that if things don't work out for them, that this is a must-win season for those guys, for Quinn and Patricia, that they could eventually rejoin Belichick on his staff. And then obviously you have the connection between Saban and Tua. It seems like it's more than just do they have the capital to move up to number 5. There are a lot of other issues in place, Nick.
Right, well, exactly. To move up into the top 5 ahead of Miami, trade with Detroit. That's the team you're talking about. A team since Bob Quinn, after spending 15 years in New England, he's made 7 trades with the Patriots. Matt Patricia, you mentioned it. He and Belichick still vacation together. And I think folks see that and they say, well, of course, that's ridiculous. No team is going to cut their former employer or where they have some loyalties a break in a trade. The only way New England could actually move it into number 3 is if that is exactly what happened. And while I know folks are quick to poo-poo it and folks are quick to say that would never happen in pro sports, I don't need to go very far back in history, and I don't need to go anywhere else geographically to a different team in Boston, the Celtics, who won their only title in the last 30 years. How? Because former Celtic Kevin McHale said, hey, I don't know what to do with this Kevin Garnett fella. I mean, he's one of the 24 greatest players of all time. He's a former league MVP. He's the best player in the history of our franchise. You want him for Big Al Jefferson, Danny Ainge, my old locker room buddy? So I've seen that happen. And I say all that to say this. If Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia gift Tua Tagovailoa to the New England Patriots and Bill Belichick for the 23rd pick, a 3rd-round pick, and Julian bleeping Edelman, I'm out. I don't know if I'll be able to watch the sport again because I can't deal with the idea of it. I'm out on everything. If they end up being gifted Tua Tagovailoa because Patricia's like, well, probably getting fired here anyway. This would be one hell of a cover letter for my resume. I gave you Tua. Can't happen. Don't even want to conceptualize it. Letting you know now.
Nick's out.
Nick.
What are you going to do, Nick?
Nick's out.
I don't know, man.
Nick.
Go live in a yurt. Out.
We got to leave it there and take a break. I feel guilty now for getting this job because Nick and I spend all those summers together. Coming up, despite Baker Mayfield's interception woes, his new head coach still believes in him. We'll let Nick calm down just a bit. We're back.